Hello, I'm Bernard Norcott-Mahany. I work for the Blueford branch of the Kansas City Public Library, and April is National Poetry Month, and it's been my habit to read poetry aloud every day during April. And for this April of 2022, I am reading some of the odes of Horace. So Horace was a Roman poet from the 1st century BCE, and his odes are his best known work, and especially the first 3 books of odes, which were published as a unit around 23 BCE. Now, some of the poems go back into the 30s BCE, so this was like a collected poems that came out in 23. So the last poem in Book 1, poem 38 of Book 1, which David Ferry, the translator, says to his slave, it is addressed to a slave boy who would be serving wine, is sometimes known actually by its Latin the first 2 words, persicos odi. I hate Persian devices is the opening line of the poem. This is a typical poem of Horace. Horace presents himself as a simple man with simple pleasures who hates Eastern finery, right? So anything that's sort of exaggerated. This is over and over again. We've seen it in some of the poems we've already looked at. And in this one, which is a short poem, again, he's addressing this thing, right? What I want is simple wine in a simple cup. I don't want all this Eastern finery. So, Poem 38. I dislike elaborate show, as for example, Persian garlands too intricately woven. So don't go looking everywhere for somewhere where the last rose blooming anywhere might be. Don't bother to look for anything less simple than simple myrtle, suitable to the scene. The garlanded cupbearer waiting, and garlanded I here in the shade of the arbor, drinking my wine. So that ending, I have a feeling Ferry is thinking of the line from the Rubaiyat, here I am with a book, a jug of wine, and thou, here in the garden. I think it's the same sort of image that he's talking about, but here it's a simplicity and none of that Eastern finery. So that was Persicos Odi, or as Ferry gives the title, To His Slave.